You know, to win close games, you need to be as solid as possible and not commit errors that beat yourself, right? You want to force your opponent to beat you. And I think just some turnovers, some costly turnovers that they didn't necessarily earn. Those possessions, balls dribbled out of bounds. Maybe a couple of times we committed to some drives that weren't there and ended up in their hands. And then a couple of fouls down the stretch. I think just they caught up with us.
Travis, I guess in those final offensive possessions, what were you guys kind of looking for on? Kind of walked us through the second to last shot. Like maybe the type of shots you guys were looking for in those final seconds.
We were trying to get two. We had a cross screen for DT for Deshaun down low. I thought came open, couldn't get the ball in there, and so the counter to that was going to be Witt getting to the paint with Onen in the corner for a kick, and he couldn't get in the paint, and so we kind of just played basketball from there and made some things happen.
That second half offensively, what maybe changed that Moody and Thomas were able to kind of get going and get you guys that lead?
Continued movement. You know, their plan was stick to shooters and force Whitney and Bannon to play one-on-one. Whitney was successful doing that. Bannon wasn't. And so in the second half, we just went to more movement stuff, screens, off-ball screens. They shoulder screens to defend some of that stuff. That's where Moody freed up. There were some guard-to-guard screens that caused some confusion, and Moody got free in those as well. So a lot of it was just, causing some confusion with some like ball screens that guys aren't used to defending, or just the big screening for guys. And when we got good movement, we got great shots.
You went big early, and so did they in the starting lineup. What was sort of the strategy behind the big lineups?
For me, it was just defensive. I thought Mac would be more solid on the big fella, and also on our ball screen coverage, and that would free Deshaun up to be more aggressive on the offensive side of the ball. And I thought we were fine. We just needed to tweak some things in terms of how we defended the ball screen. Once we did that, we were good. We went from giving up 64% in the first half to 40 in the second. So the adjustments were good, and that might be something we look at again.
How'd you think your guys just handled the rivalry, the environment, all that sort of stuff?
I thought they handled it well. Obviously, there were some early jitters, slow start offensively. But once we got the lid off, I thought we flowed pretty well. Whitney put us on his back a little bit, which typically someone will do out of those five guys we have in starting lineup. All of them can kind of get going offensively. So, we could have been a little better with execution, but that happens in a game against one of the better defensive teams in the league.
What do you think of the point guard battle? Both Brandon Whitney and Darius Brown both played really well tonight.
I knew it was going to be a tough one. I knew that, Darius Brown was really good in the ball screen, and we wanted to eliminate his ability to create for others, so we kind of forced him to score a lot, like what they were doing with Whitney. And it seemed like it was a tit for tat, and when one guy had 23, one guy had 21.
I guess the other individual matchup, you had Moody on Raekwon Battle a lot. How do you think he did there, and why'd you go with that
It's
matchup?
tough coverage. Well, he was the only other guard.
Yeah.
So we had three forwards in the game, so that was kind of how it was going to be if we were going to play large. It was either going to be Whitney or Moody, and we just thought Whitney in the ball screen would be better for us in terms of keeping the ball in front of us. And he fought. We kept him from getting to the rim as much as we could. He jumped up, made some jump shots, and elevated above us, which we don't have anyone that jumps that high, so we just want to make sure the shots were contested. He made a lot of tough shots, and that's what good players do.
Good. Just moving forward, how to turn the page from this one about midpoint of the conference season?
Treat Monday like every Monday, grind it out, watch some film, look at some areas that we can continue to get better at. Right now, we're playing really good basketball for 25 to 30 minutes, and we got to get to a point where we can put 40 minutes together on both sides of the ball. And right now, we just have guys kind of taking turns, getting out of whack a little bit with our execution on either side of the ball, and it's costing us, right? That's where our turnovers came from, and that's why they shot such a high percentage in the first half. So we just got to tighten up. We just got to keep growing, keep working, and try to improve as much the rest of this month as possible, and then maybe February is our month. All right.
Appreciate it.